I don't care if Gregg Berhalter and company win the World Cup or bomb out without a point and finish last. I don't think that a national team coach should have multiple cycles. Okay, so that's always been my take. So regardless of what happens in this World Cup, I think you move on to somebody else, and maybe in particular with this team. And Lee, you hit it on the head in terms of how important 2026, and it is an incredible carrot that probably Gregg Berhalter or anybody else would love to have. Having said that, it's not that he couldn't be good going forward. It's just that I think it gets stale, and it can get stale very, very quickly. And keep in mind, we've talked so much about how young this group is. And Gregg Berhalter, for that young group, I think has been very, very good. I disagree with you, but I think that Gregg Berhalter has been very, very good for that group. But as the dynamic changes and as these young men grow into older men, the way you have to coach them, the way you have to deal with them changes. And I think that that's hard if you have already through a cycle dealt with them in a certain way to change as a coach. So that's the first thing. What happens for him to continue? I do think that there is a sentiment at Soccer House, it's no longer Soccer House, but at the United States Soccer Federation and the leadership when it comes to Brian McBride and Ernie Stewart, not that no matter what he is our guy going forward, but I think that they would like to kind of continue this process that they have started with Gregg Berhalter. And that happens in terms, I think, of, first off, getting out of the group. I think if he gets out of the group, which it has to be said is not necessarily something that you celebrate it, but it's been done before. If he gets out of the group, I think that U.S. Soccer will continue with him. For me, if he were to continue, at the very least, I would obviously get out of the group and then put in a result that you said, a respectable result. I think you have to win that round of 16 game against anybody except for the Netherlands. I look at the Netherlands as now much more so than Denmark as my dark horse. I think that this Netherlands team is really, really good, and I think they have a pathway. I think that they will win their group. Keep in mind that the Netherlands is in a group with, as we've mentioned before, Qatar, Ecuador, the Netherlands, Ecuador,
Qatar, Ecuador, Senegal.
Senegal. Oh, I can't believe I forgot Senegal. So they should win this group. But if the U.S. faces Senegal, Qatar, or Ecuador, I expect the U.S. to find a way, it's an easy no, but find a way to win that game. And if they don't, it will be a disappointment. If they bomb out against the Netherlands, and as Lee says here, it's a respectable type of performance, then I'm okay with that. I will leave with this. The performance against Belgium was only respectable in the fact that Tim Howard stood on his head, okay? So that would not be the type of performance that I look at as respectable.
You know, I've been thinking about this a lot. What constitutes a successful World Cup for the U.S.? I think we all agree quarterfinals, unequivocal success, group stage failure. The round of 16 is that weird in between where, as you mentioned, the how, I think, could play into it. If the U.S. were to get outplayed by England and lose, get results against Wales and Iran, qualify second in the group, then get played off the field by the Netherlands and lose, that's a weird one. You know, it's kind of, some people will argue success, other people no. It's going to be right in that in-between. A little bit reminiscent of 2014, which in the moment, it felt like a huge success. And then it was only afterwards that I feel like people thought about it and said, wait, was it? We only won 1 out of 4 games. And if it wasn't for Tim Howard, would have gotten blown out by Belgium. Now, to be fair to Klinsmann, that was a tougher group than this one. They were in a group with Ghana, Portugal, and Germany, then had to face Belgium in the round of 16. So, yeah, it's kind of interesting figuring out exactly what would constitute a success or failure for the U.S.
Good question, though. And look, we could very easily have a 1-1-1 type of form. There's no shame in that. You get out of the group any way that you possibly can, okay? Yes, ideally, we beat Wales, we beat Iran, we have 6 points, and everything's fine. But a 1-1-1 in performance is certainly a possibility, and if that gets us out of the group, fine.
You like that clip? Well, my State of the Union podcast drops every week. Subscribe now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. You like that clip? Well, my State of the Union podcast drops twice a week right here on my very own YouTube page. The only way to stay up to date is to hit that subscribe button down below. Size the day, and see you soon.